I live my life as if it were 24/7 on display before the world and before men and before angels. Um, so 24/7, it's like 24/7 Truman Show. And when I first achieved self-awareness, the first stage anyway, and then lost it again, you can get self-awareness and then you can lose it again. So for those of you who are just struggling with the strawberry field syndrome and you're like, oh, how am I ever going to know, who am I anymore? What am I going to do? You're probably going to have, develop new defense mechanisms. And then you're going to develop new defense mechanisms. Then you're going to be unaware again. And then you'll have new problems to fix. And then, at different stages, and you get even better, stuff like that. I'll give you an example, okay? Like if I'm walking through the airport and there's someone in the way or kind of crosses my path, I'll stop and pretend I notice them. Like, oh wow, look at that. Or if if I'm trying to cross the road, but then I want the car to go first, since the car goes faster than me walking, I will just this is a Casey Neistat trick. He says, just step in front of this. It's perfect lighting. What do you do? What do you do? What do I say? If I'm walking and then someone's going to cross the path and I pretend. Or I'm like, oh yeah, you're trying to cross the road, and there's like a nice off. It's like, oh no, you first, oh no, you first, oh no, you first, oh no, you first, and it lasts maybe like 4 or 5 hours. It's like, just go, and I'm like, just go. But I like, or you can be passive aggressive and just stand there, and just stare at them, like, no, you go. You're the car. You can get past in 1 second. I walk past in like 10 seconds. Use your brain. But we're just being nice. It's Americans nice, but the other people, other nations, they're like, no, the car would just barrel through, honk, honk, honk. Here's the same way, Qatar and Vietnam. I mean, literally, like, I was crossing, it's still green, and the car's honking at me. Like, can you just wait a second? They're so close to each other, it's so dangerous. Anyway, but not as dangerous as Thailand, because Thailand statistically is worse and most dangerous place in the world to drive. And I'm telling you, don't you ever ride a motorbike in Thailand? Just don't. Why risk your life? Why gamble with odds that terrible? My point is this: when you achieve self-awareness, you're going to have to learn to crawl and learn to walk again. Baby steps, learn to crawl and learn to walk again. And you're going to have to learn. You have to develop emotional intelligence, people. Okay, you can't be children anymore and just be all like children and have a temper and all these things, and you just block and repress all those things. You have to grow up. We have to grow up. And we have to develop emotional intelligence, and we have to read books, EQ, and take those tests, EQ, and all that stuff. Just read a book, people, okay? Stop being so cried, oh, woe is me, and all this, this depression and sloth and depression, and like, oh, I don't know who I am anymore. Yeah, I get it. It's painful. I went through it too, but just read a book, and you're going to get through it. You're going to be better. Or you're going to just go into drugs and escapism and then develop new harmful defense mechanisms, possibly even worse than before. Like you think that, because you're insecure and weak before, now you're going to be mean to people. That doesn't make sense. So just read a book, or find a counselor or therapist if you need it. Make new friends, or it's got to be, it's a thing. It's a struggle. Everyone's got their own thing, and eventually you're going to learn to not care what people think. But you have to have a confidence, and you have to learn how to behave like a normal person. Like I went to the Islam Museum today, and 24/7, every moment. Gary Vaynerchuk even talks about this. He talks about, what if 1 second I just decided he wanted to say something terrible, could ruin his entire career and life. You have to control yourself, people. Self-control. Look at the men in the Bible. It was only by one sin, terrible things. King David, one night, like, I'll just invite her over, make friends. We're not doing anything. And then boom, the entire kingdom of Israel almost just collapsed and destroyed with collapse under that because of that one sin. So you have to guard every single moment, mindful of the Lord and His angels all the time. And that's what self-awareness is. But we are made a spectacle before the world and before men and before angels. Pray. If we're worth our salt, and there's plenty of resources out there in the Bible and other things, worth your salt, you're going to come out stronger. Or you're going to go into drinking and drugs and escapism, and your life will be a failure, and you will fail at everlasting life.